Okay, so forget what you've seen in the movies. Asteroid mining isn't science fiction anymore. It's the next great gold rush, and the stakes could literally change civilization as we know it. So let's get into it, because the real question isn't if this is going to happen, but what happens to all of us when it does.
You've all heard this cry, right? It's the sound of the frontier, of ambition, of striking it rich. Well, get ready, because that old prospector shout is about to get a major 21st century update.
See, the new frontier isn't some patch of land out west. We're talking about the vast, dark expanse of the asteroid belt, and the new hills are the millions of cosmic rocks just tumbling through space. And I want to be clear, this isn't just some cute metaphor. This is the looming reality of the next great resource boom.
And what a boom it's going to be. $10,000 quadrillion. I mean, it's a number that basically breaks your brain, right? But that's the estimated value of the minerals locked inside just one single asteroid, a big one named 16 Psyche. To put that into perspective, it's enough money to potentially make every single person on Earth a billionaire. Just wild.
So what is this cosmic gold we're even talking about? What's hiding in these rocks that makes them so ridiculously valuable? All right, let's open up the treasure chest.
The main prize here is something called platinum group metals, or PGMs. You know, platinum, palladium, rhodium. This is the super rare stuff that our modern technology absolutely depends on. It's in your phone, the catalytic converter in your car, the fuel cells that might power our future. Down here on Earth, this stuff is incredibly scarce and expensive. But up there, it's basically everywhere. Get this, a single smallish asteroid could have more of these metals than have ever been mined in all of human history. Let that sink in for a second.
Now, I know what you're probably thinking. This sounds cool, but how are we actually going to do this? Well, this is the exact point where the science fiction ends and the real engineering begins. The tools for this quest are literally being built right now.
For the longest time, the biggest hurdle, the absolute showstopper, was just the cost of getting to space. We're talking upwards of $10,000 just to launch a single pound. But reusable rockets, the kind pioneered by companies like SpaceX, have made that cost just plummet. It's completely collapsed. And that is the game changer that turns this whole idea from a dream into a viable business plan.
And you can just forget any image of miners with pickaxes. The work is going to be done by swarms of autonomous robots. They'll use these incredible new techniques like optical mining, which is basically using giant mirrors to focus sunlight into a beam that melts the rock and extracts the valuable materials. And then they'll refine it all right there, in space. It's a whole new kind of industry.
But here's the most surprising part. The very first and most valuable resource we'll go after isn't platinum, it's water. Yeah, just plain old H2O. Why? Because water is the oil of space. You can zap it with electricity and split it into hydrogen and oxygen, which is literally rocket fuel. This means we can build gas stations in orbit, refueling depots that will make all other deep space exploration unbelievably cheaper.
And this brings us right to the heart of the issue. This isn't just a technological revolution, it's an economic earthquake waiting to happen. The arrival of these resources from space puts humanity at a crossroads, with two very, very different paths forward.
So let's just imagine for a second. A private company successfully mines thousands of tons of platinum from an asteroid. The big question is, what do they do with it now? Because the answer could reshape our entire world.
Option A is the one that seems obvious, right? Bring all that cosmic treasure back home and cash in. But as simple as that sounds, this path is probably the most dangerous one we could take.
I mean, it's basic supply and demand. If you suddenly flood the global market with a resource that was previously defined by being incredibly rare, the price doesn't just drop, it completely craters. The material would become almost worthless overnight, you'd wipe out entire mining industries on Earth, crash economies, and destroy the very value you went to space to get. It's total economic self-sabotage.
And that, of course, brings us to option B, the much smarter future. The savvy players in this game know the real money isn't about flooding Earth's markets. It's about building something totally new, off-world.
This is what's called the space for space model. You use the water you find for fuel. You use the common metals to 3D print spare parts, repair satellites, and build brand new structures right there in orbit. You create this powerful feedback loop, bootstrapping an entire in-space economy that's totally independent of Earth. Remember the old saying from the gold rushes? The people who got truly rich weren't the ones digging for gold, they were the ones selling the shovels. This is the exact same idea, just on a cosmic scale.
This economic choice leads directly to an even bigger, thornier question. As nations and private companies all start racing to claim these resources, who actually owns space? Who gets to make the rules out on the final frontier?
The only real law we have is the Outer Space Treaty from way back in 1967. And its core idea is pretty simple. Space, including the moon and asteroids, cannot be owned by any single nation. It's supposed to be for all of humanity. But there's a critical ambiguity in the fine print.
And this is where we see a direct conflict. The old treaty says nations can't plant a flag and claim sovereignty. But new laws, passed in countries like the US and Luxembourg, say that private companies can own the resources they dig up. This is setting the stage for a new great game, a geopolitical showdown over who has the right to profit from the cosmos.
And beyond all the legal battles, just think about the psychological shift for a minute. For all of human history, our progress, our conflicts, our very societies have been defined by scarcity. We fight wars over resources. What happens to us when we suddenly realize that key materials are no longer scarce, but are just abundant, raining down from the heavens?
So, where does all this leave us? Well, it's pretty clear that asteroid mining is a monumental, high-stakes gamble with a cosmic-sized payout. It is a true frontier, unforgiving for sure, but promising riches that could completely redefine human history.
The choice we have in front of us is stark. On one hand, you've got the promise of a boom, unprecedented material abundance, a new age of cheap technology, a truly sustainable off-world economy. And on the other hand, there's the peril of a bust, catastrophic market collapse, new geopolitical conflicts, and a concentration of wealth and power unlike anything we have ever seen before.
But let's not lose sight of the grander prize here. To get this cosmic gold, we have to build a permanent presence beyond our planet. This financial incentive, this cosmic gold rush, it just might be the single greatest, most practical driver we have to finally push humanity to become a true, multi-planetary species.
The technology is no longer the bottleneck. The money is there, waiting. The incentives are just too big to ignore now. The only real question left is the one we have to ask ourselves. Are we, as a species, truly ready for this cosmic leap and for everything that comes with it?